On this episode of our podcast, I have a very, very, very special guest. I know I always say that, but all my guests are special because I hand chose them. Personally, I have Holly Vernon, holistic practitioner and now author of the amazing book, The Little Book of Holistic Happiness. Welcome, Holly, to our show.
Thank you very much, Valentina. I'm super excited to be
Yes,
here.
God always puts these amazing women in my path, literally. And I think the more I get into the world of spirituality, getting to know myself, trying to improve myself day by day, I'm introduced to all these other women that are also on the path to self-discovery. Now, before we
Beautiful.
talk about your beautiful book, tell us a little bit about where you're from, where you grew up, all that beautiful stuff.
So I am American born. At the age of 15, I transferred over to Belgium, Brussels, Belgium, with my parents. My father got transferred for his work. I did the high school program there after I moved briefly to Switzerland to do only a year of college because I got married when I was 20 years old,
Wow.
super duper young. So you could kind of say from the frying pan to the pot. And that's what happened. So yeah, just that's it. And then I ended up from Switzerland. I moved to Rome, where I lived for 20 years. So I would consider very much Rome my home.
There we go. So lei parla italiano anche. She speaks Italian. Holly's accent in Italian is beautiful,
Grazie.
beautiful.
Grazie.
Okay, Holly, I want to know, I know the story, but I want my listeners to hear. Tell us a story about how you came about to write your little book of holistic happiness.
Well, this book has a huge journey behind it, first of all. After my divorce, I went through a very turbulent period where I truly didn't know if I was going to make it. I thought, that's it, Holly. Your marriage is over, your children, you're going to see only sometimes. And I had dedicated my whole youth to my children. So I had to do something. And luckily, I had started 10 years before, I had started my yoga. So I had already found one tool that kind of helped me to find my quiet. Luckily, my teacher that I started yoga with is a very renowned, I would say, philosopher, modern day philosopher, studying all antique techniques and all the rest. So I jumped on that train. I've never been a real academic. I've always been quite a rebel at school, challenging and questioning everything that was in front of me. So when I ended my marriage, I felt I needed that. I felt from being a kept woman and having everything a woman could desire, that wasn't it. That wasn't it. I found the richness in my studies with other women, sharing each other's stories, solidarity, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it's all about. In encountering and experiencing and communicating. And that's what opened up this little book of holistic happiness.
So Holly, what she's not telling you is that she's a woman of many traits. You do like a million things. The multifaceted woman. I think all of us women are multifaceted.
Totally.
So Holly is a professional masseuse. She's also a nutritionist. You do the
macrobiotic with the base of the macrobiotic diet.
The macrobiotic diet, which she's introduced our family to, and which we love. Yes, and also now author. And you studied philosophy for how many years?
20 years. 20 years, I would say really, really intensely 8 years. And that included studying and traveling to the place of origin of the studies that we were doing. So yeah, India, Egypt several times, all over the half moon of the Mediterranean, because that's where so much knowledge resides. And Greece, Sicily, extensive studies, a lot of work also on the Renaissance era of art. So huge travels through Italy just to explore all that goodness that is there. And
And in all those years, what do you think? Because I know there's many things you could share with us, but what's a moment that really stands out for you as a moment where you felt deep gratitude because you feel like you were onto something? Like you felt like, oh my goodness, I wish everybody knew this.
Well, I have to say this is an excellent point because I remember the day, and I say this in the book, that my philosophy teacher told me, our thoughts are not our thoughts. Wow, you guys.
Our thoughts are
Are
not our
not
thoughts.
are not fully our thoughts.
Okay.
Our thoughts are not fully our thoughts. So that made me right away feel a relief because many times in my lifetime, I've had these thoughts running through my head that I truly didn't know what they were. And when we have thoughts, it makes us reflect and many times act. So when I learned that all these thoughts are not actually our thoughts, I released them. I didn't have to act on those thoughts in one way or the other because they weren't mine. And so it helps to discern what really is ours. What is ours? Is that really my intent behind my thought that I'm having? Or does it come from somewhere that I don't even know?
And I love that because I think that everybody can relate to that. We all have thoughts that are like, oh gosh, did I just did I just really think that? That didn't come from the most high place.
Exactly.
And that and then when we realize that we don't have to be attached to those thoughts and we can let them go, it is a relief.
It's a relief. And I'll tell you something even more. It's okay, you guys. First of all, it's okay to have those thoughts because they're not ours. And it's okay to tell those thoughts, hey, buddy, you're not mine. Please leave. I'm going to substitute you with something so mine that it's going to be life altering. So, yeah, it's okay. Everything is okay. It's okay to have those thoughts. It's okay to say, those thoughts are not mine. We have to learn to be gentle with ourselves.
Oh yeah, I think that's such a big lesson. I think that when we're gentle to ourselves, we're also gentle with humanity and with everybody else.
Exactly.
And I know one of the things that I want to find it right now, because you talk about, when people judge other people. And I think that I'm gonna have to find that part in the book. Let me see here.
I can help you too.
I know I have it here, something here. Esta parte la tienes que editar.
I believe it's in karma, actually. Or it might be even in Dharma. Hold on.
I just had it. I just read it to Luz del Sol.
Got it?
Yes. So there's a part in the book that you talk about judgment. And I love it because you say here, it's not my duty to judge others, but it is my duty to judge me and see my implications in all I do.
Yes.
And I think that's where, at least for me, I feel that it's one of the places where if you really understand that it's not your place to judge others, but it is your place to see what your implication is in the things that you do, or where we go wrong ourselves. I think that's also very freeing because we free ourselves of all judgment, because when we start judging ourselves, we see that we're not perfect, and then it becomes impossible to judge others.
Beautiful. Beautifully said. That is so right on. And what a relief to not have to judge anybody.
Oh my gosh, what a relief.
What a relief. And how gratifying to see our implications, you guys, in everything we do. I tell you, it becomes almost obsessive.
Yes.
Because it makes you want to do, good.
You do, yeah. It makes you want to be better.
Brava.
It makes you want to be better. When you realize,
better.
oh man, I messed up here, I effed up there. You're like, no. Next time around, I'm not going to do it that way. And it gives you the liberty to choose differently the second time around.
Bravissima.
Because I feel that when we make mistakes, when I make the same mistake over and over again, it's because I'm not yet understanding what it is that I did wrong and where my implications were the first time around.
Brava. Right. You're not observing, you're being a subjective participant.
Yes.
That's what we do. We're subjective participants. We're there and we're doing. So when we understand that maybe what we're doing is not exactly what we want to be doing, because in the end, you guys, that's the only thing that matters, is that we're doing what we want to do.
And what does that mean for you when you do what you want to do? Because I know you talk a lot about spontaneity, and I know you're going to read a part of that for our audience, but what do you mean by that? By doing what you're doing, what you want to do?
So what I mean by when I say doing you. So doing me, what is doing me? Doing me is diving deep inside myself and bringing to the table that inner peace. That's what doing me is personally. We all have our, our little nicks and our little gifts and I like to bring peace to the table. So how do I know when I'm doing that? I know when I'm bringing peace to the table to any situation I'm in by the way I feel, by my emotions. So am I feeling, turbulent? Am I tired? No, we should go through feeling super smooth, you guys. That's when we're doing us. That's when we're doing
So
us.
it's basically going inward to the deepest part of ourselves, and I guess bringing out love, which is the essence of who we are.
Exactly. And who demonstrates it in love. And I mean, it really is universal.
Yes, it's universal.
It really
I
is
asked the question
universal.
because I feel like a lot of people could interpret doing you as being selfish, but it's in actuality the opposite of being
Brava,
selfish.
Vale. It's exactly the opposite.
Because and also when we nurture ourselves, when we quiet our minds, when we find that inner peace, when we cultivate that self-love, I think it's the only way to then externally
Brava.
show that outwardly.
It's the only way that we can truly do it, truly.
And let's have her read a little bit of the spontaneity part of her book, because I find that beautiful. She talks about connecting with your inner child and how when we're born as children, we're our true selves, and then we have to relearn, right?
Yes, we have to relearn. We have to remember.
To remember.
Yes, it's a big job we humans have of remembering. Remembering what? Remembering who we are truly and where we come from.
And Holly, who are we? Where do we come from?
We are celestial beings and we come from the heavens. And this is what I truly believe. And I mean, even the astrophysics are talking about it today, you guys. So come on. So I believe we are all stardust and we are beautiful human beings here, each and every one of us in our individuality. I mean, how cool is it, you guys, that we all come from the same place, but we're all different?
Yes. And when you describe us, this is one of my favorite lines. We are peaceful warriors with a purpose. I love that.
Yes.
Yes, we're peaceful warriors with a purpose.
Yes, each and every one of us.
Each and every one of us. Okay.
Okay, so concept 5, spontaneity. I just love this. Have you ever admired a child's pureness, their sublime innocence, the way they can just be, sometimes happy, sometimes sad, but mostly carefree and joyful? Spontaneity is coexisting with that childlike freedom. Being true to ourselves is this. A lot of adults, for some crazy reason, think that to be mature, you have to detach from that inner child. This is the biggest illusion we can live. Losing our innocence is the worst thing that can happen. And it's happened. Children don't care about the color of skin, language spoken, or superficial details of another child. Children make their every move according to what they like, what they feel, what is good, and especially who is spontaneous. Maturity is nothing more than acquiring as much vital information as we can for understanding the true story of man. How did we get here? Why are we here? And what are we doing here? The primordial question. Through spontaneity, we can understand this. We will actually be told by ourselves if we are truly spontaneous and listening. This key of inner, innocent spontaneity is a huge factor towards our true happiness. The best thing about this also is, have you ever seen a child who cares what other thinks of their behavior? Freedom comes with spontaneity. Today, honor that inner child. Let yourself laugh out loud at something silly. Give someone you love a random hug, just because. Dance a silly dance in front of your child. Just watch the sheer joy you will transmit.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so beautiful. And, I think that's one of my favorite parts of the book because it reminds us to go back to the time where
That
we
it's
felt spontaneous. So where we didn't care about what other people think. And
mhm.
there's a quote that I heard and I forgot who said it, but I've been holding on to it because I think it's so cool. And it has to do with this. And it's what other people think of you is none of your business. Isn't
That's
that cool?
awesome. I
What
love
other people think of us is
it.
none of our business.
That's so right on. That's so right on. It's their business.
It's their business.
Exactly.
It's not our business.
Exactly. I
That's what
love
they're
it.
projecting on us, but it has nothing to do with
Exactly.
us.
Exactly. Bravo, Valley. That's so
Yeah, I
cool. I
love
love
it.
that.
And when you kind of enter your spontaneity and you start being more authentic to who you truly are, you
Mm-hmm.
can get rid of all these labels that you were given when you were a child.
Brava. That's so
Yeah.
true and so important.
And
So
then it feels
important.
good too, because you're no longer acting from a place of should, but from a place of more like love. Like you said, children act from a place of yeah, where they feel that it resonates with them. They
It's
follow their
warm.
hearts.
It's
It's
warm.
warm.
It's kind. It's
Yes.
inviting. Yes, it's not something scary and what also comes with spontaneity is other than freedom is a sense of true liberation. Like
Oh,
Valentina said,
yes.
it's liberating from what we've been labeled, not only from our family, it goes all the way back, society, everything is labeled if you think about it. And who makes those labels anyways? It's like, oh, where is that label man that can label everybody? I'd like to meet him. So let's unlabel and let's be spontaneous,
Yes.
guys, because it's so much worth it and it's so fun. And who doesn't want to be that? And even if we don't and we can't, let's learn, let's learn. Let's learn from our children.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I do want to say this because of the fact that we have one thing, we connected when we first met. You and I both talked about like our painful divorce story. So we went through that. Now, if you could tell your younger self something that you now know, or that you could help other women that are going now through their separation or heartbreak or divorce, what would you tell your younger self?
It's okay. Everything is going to be okay. That's it.
Everything is going to be okay.
Everything's going to be okay, ladies.
And it's sometimes that's all we need to hear.
Yes.
Everything is going to be okay.
And in the end, you know what? It's true. It's true, because if we can quiet down, find time for yourselves, we women especially, we're all over the place, you guys. I mean, look what we do. Not only giving birth to humans, you know, we give birth. That's huge. And look at all the things we do. We're caregivers. We take care of everybody. And many times we push ourselves to the side and we don't even take care of
Take care of
ourselves.
ourselves, yeah.
Take care of yourselves, ladies. You are beautiful human beings. I honor each and every one of you. I love you all. Take care of yourselves. Do it. And you know what? No guilt, no fear, no sense of, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to. Yes, you are, because we have been auto-trained that we are not doing what we're supposed to when we take care of ourselves.
That's so true. A lot of women, when they start having children or they get married, they stop taking care of themselves, and it's like they have to only take care of everybody else, and they let themselves go, and then they wonder why they're not happy.
Exactly. I went through that personally. I was in a marriage I had a very good lifestyle, lots of money, vacation houses, boats, furs, rings, and I was unhappy and I was unhealthy, you guys. Unhealthy. I was sick all the time, Valentina, sick. Bronchitis, asthma. I was suffocating myself with all those things. Basta. I got to a point after many years of the yoga and the philosophy and the good healthy eating. How important is the healthy eating, ladies, for our mental containers? It's huge. Our gut is our second brain. Let's not forget that. So with that in mind, let's eat lots of whole grains. It's not true what they say about the carbs. We need our good carbs. We need our good carbs.
Good carbs, because you've talked to me about that.
The complex carbohydrates. Yes. And that's a whole nother conversation that we'll get into.
The macrobiotic diet.
Yes,
A whole other episode on that. You do delve into other things, even though it's the little book of holistic happiness, I have to say that when you read it, your mind kind of explodes a bit because there are some concepts that are, let's say, things that you really need to
focus and
like concentrate. And although there are very short chapters, it leaves you thinking about a lot of things. One of the things that I thought about when I was reading was, you talk about there being a personal karma, a family or societal karma, and then the collective karma.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So would you like all the three?
Yes.
Okay.
Because, I mean, what I understood, I'll tell you what I understood, but I would like it from your perspective.
Awesome.
So that you could tell, what is it that.
So basically, we all know karma. I mean, it's such a word that has been so abused in this reality we live in today, you guys. Karma actually in Sanskrit means action. One word. Karma, action. So action of what? We have our personal karma, which is the actions of all our parents, all our ancestors, and it can go all the way back. It does go all the way back to the first man and woman walking this earth. So our family karma are the actions that have been taken in our lives regarding our family. So we were talking about those labels, the label man, the labels that have been put on us. For instance, my biggest karmic trait is I was always told I can't do it. Oh, that's too hard, Holly. No. Or don't worry, Holly, somebody will do it for you, because I was a cutesy when I was young. So I always had everybody doing everything for me. So, hey, when you're young, it's like, okay, why not? Well, then you get to be 40 and you divorce and you don't know how to do anything. So let's invest on not letting people label us that we're insufficient when we are such capable human beings. Now, next is our social karma, the status quo of what we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to do it, and when we're supposed to do it. This is another huge anchor into our realities, because first of all, we're not all the same. We're all individually different with totally different stories, all with a connection to the same place. So that's our social karma, our status quo, what goes on, in this very low vibrational reality.
Okay.
Without attinging other ideas, no, just the status quo. So the collective karma is that which holds all of humanity's, I like to call it folly, just because I think folly is such an interesting topic, but it holds all of man's karma, all the chaos going on in this world, all the personal karmas, all put together, you guys. And I explain it in the book. It's like a tidal wave. It's like a tidal wave that can be devastating unless we stop, we turn, we face it, we see it's real, and we start working on our personal karma. That's how we can add to helping the accumulative karma, which is, it's everything, guys. It's all of us.
And it's interesting because at the end, it all goes back to working on oneself.
Always.
And that's what we actually have control over. And that's why I think that's good news, because it's not like there's this huge thing that we can't have influence over. It's actually quite the opposite.
Bravo.
Once we work on ourselves, we're actually helping the collective karma.
Exactly. In a huge way, Vale.
In a huge way.
It's like the butterfly effect. We've all heard of the butterfly effect. There you go.
What is it? The wings of the butterfly?
That can in Chile, that can flap and cause a tidal wave in Hawaii.
Yes.
It's astounding. It's a beautiful thing. And the thing is, it's real. So I really personally like to think, let's be kind. Let's be grateful, because look what a power that is. Holy cow.
I mean, if you think about it, that what is it? The
butterfly effect.
Yeah, the butterfly effect. Just the butterfly moving its wings. If just that small thing can be felt and seen all the way on the other side of the world, imagine what our daily words and daily actions and daily intentions do to the rest of the world.
It's huge. Well,
it's a ripple effect.
Well, and let's look at the world and what situation it is right now. Do we want to talk about that? I mean, the world is in a sad place. People are not happy, guys.
Yeah.
And there's too much outward attention instead
Yes,
of
it's the
that
inward
inward attention.
attention. Yes, and you talk about that in the book. You say there's a moment where you have to stop looking outward and start looking in.
Exactly.
It's like the arrow that we tend to, like people that judge, they focus the arrow that way, and they're not knowing that in
Bravo.
reality the arrow is pointing this way.
Exactly. And many people don't even think there's an option. But there is. We are such complex creatures. I mean, why did God or the heavens or whatever we want to call it give us the voice? Why did it give it to the animals? It gave us the voice because we have the power to communicate. We must communicate with others to help ourselves grow. When I talk to another person, first of all, right away I say, oh, how am I feeling? Do I feel some sort of weird in my tummy, or is it a flowing conversation? Or that's how we can grow, guys. If we don't communicate, we cannot grow. We cannot do it by ourselves. We cannot do it by ourselves reading a book. We need to read the book. We need to converse. We need to interact. It's a dynamic journey we are on.
Yes, and share that. Whatever.
Always.
That's the cool thing about, I think, when people start looking inward, I think anybody who's on that journey always ends up wanting to share what they've learned with other people.
Exactly.
Because it's like you get like this feeling of like, oh wow, like you see the possibilities for the world.
Exactly.
When you work on yourself and you start loving yourself, you want to share that with everybody.
Exactly.
You want everybody to love themselves.
It's so true. It is. It's so true.
Well, this is where the book comes from.
That's where the book comes from. Exactly. The book comes from that growing recognition of self-love that I, first of all, started feeling for myself after thinking I was a finished woman after my divorce. Finished. I was ready to really just throw it in, guys. And instead, yeah, it's also, we say it's like taking the cross and turning it upside down. It becomes a sword. So instead of carrying that cross on my back, I flipped it up, and that's where the peaceful warrior comes from.
Wow. Well, that's the same concept for Mamas con Ganas, which is turn your dramas into Ganas.
There
so
you
turn
go.
the cross into a sword, baby.
There you go. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
I love it. I love that. So we're going to put up a blog post of Holly. And, with this live, make sure to tell us, where are you guys tuning in from? Give us some hearts if you love it, if you agree with the stuff that we said. Give us your take. Order her book. It's on Amazon. And it's she has two versions. She has the little version, which is my personal favorite.
Yes, this was actually a first kind of boo-boo, if you want to call it, a kind of rumple in the road. So it's other than the little book of holistic, but this is also good because you can see the yoga positions super good, and you can read the recipe super good. But what I would highly recommend is
the little version.
The little version and the audio version.
Oh, the audio version is amazing.
The audio version is very nice. I do it myself, and I don't know. I just like to hear somebody's voice talking to me. It just gives me a sense of goodness.
Yes, and you'll feel like what the author is trying to
really
say,
transmit,
because you'll hear her. You feel like you have Holly right next to you.
And how lucky am I get to go to all those places and visit all those people.
Yes. So make sure to tell us your comments on the show notes, and let us know, Mamacita, where are you guys tuning in from? Are you listening on Spotify, on YouTube, on Facebook Live? Let us know. # live, # replay, and give us some little hearts if you like it. And thank you so much, Holly, for being with us today. And we'll see you next week, Mamacita. Epa, es Valentina Izarra. Gracias por escuchar este episodio de nuestro podcast. Si te gustó nuestro contenido y si de alguna manera te ha inspirado, te agradeceríamos infinitamente una demostración de tu amorcito escribiendo una evaluación en iTunes o por el medio que me escuchaste. Cada comentario positivo nos ayuda a alcanzar más mamacitas para que ellas también puedan vivir su vida con muchas ganas. Gracias a oyentes como tú, podemos continuar a hacer contenido para muchas latinas. 1,000,000 de gracias por suscribirte, escuchar y compartir nuestro podcast. Si tienes preguntas, comentarios y más, puedes visitar nuestra página web mamasconganas.com o seguirnos en las redes sociales @mamasconganas. Hasta la próxima, es Valentina recordándoles, don't be a mama con drama. Let's be mamas con ganas. Besitos.